Hi, good morning, everyone. I'll start by saying that I think this is the perfect location to speak about this. First of all, because this project originated in Haifa, and I still live in Haifa, and Haifa has a lot of meanings to it. I think it wouldn't be the same if Haifa wasn't involved. And the second is about the internationality of it, and what started as something very small in Haifa, and how it became to be an international thing. So my first question is, first of all, can anyone read this? You can say out loud the answer if you know what it means in English. Well, don't feel bad because I didn't know what it says. It says, my name is Liron and I live in Haifa. How many people here speak Arabic or can read Arabic even? How many people can read Hebrew? Okay, and how many people can read English? Okay, just so you don't feel bad. This project, as I said, started about 7 years ago when I was walking down the street, my street I grew up in Haifa. And if you already saw a bit of Israel, you know that almost every street sign has 3 languages on it. It has Hebrew, it is Arabic, and it also has English. As I said, I never learned Arabic. So one day when I was walking down the street and looking at the sign, I suddenly realized this. I have been ignoring the Arabic for 30 years. I'm reading the Hebrew, I know that the English is there, but for the Arabic, well, it looks like really beautiful forms, beautiful shapes, something ornamentic, but I wasn't regarding it as something with content and meaning. And this notion was kind of horrible to discover after 30 years. We love saying that Haifa is a coexistent city. It's a city where Jewish people and Arab people live side by side peacefully. Honestly, I think the Technion is a good place to show this. But while looking at that sign, I realized that actually this coexistence that we're mentioning is more of a parallel existence. I lived my own life with my own friends, culture, language, with no connection to Arabic at all. And I felt like I need to do something, and I need to stop ignoring the Arabic. My profession is a typeface designer, so I design letters for a living, for pleasure, and I was wondering how I can take my own tools and things I feel comfortable doing and saying a message. I don't regard myself as a political person or a social involved person in the very normal form. So I don't go to rallies and I don't write often outrageous long posts on Facebook. But I did think that there should be a way that I will feel comfortable trying to say something and say some sort of message. So I decided to take the Hebrew and take the Arabic and see if I can connect them in a way that will be respectful for both languages, a way that will kind of force me not to ignore the Arabic anymore. And I was looking at the 2 scripts and wondering how I can even combine 2 scripts that look very, very different. So Hebrew and Arabic are both Semitic languages, and they're both written from right to left. They're also traditionally written with the same calligraphic tool, but if I'm looking at them visually, it should be very hard to connect them. So the Hebrew is written separately, letters are written separately, and the letters are based on angular forms and straight lines, whereas the Arabic is written in a connected way, and the lines are much more flowing and have a lot more curves. And I started looking at inspiration from the design world, looking at how different things from the same area were connected in experiments. And each time I was asking myself one question. What is this connection creating? Is this connection harming each of the objects to a state that we can no longer recognize them, they're losing their essence? Maybe this connection is doing nothing at all. And what I was looking for are the areas where this connection will create something big, something new, and basically a whole that is bigger than the sum of its parts. I felt like I still needed a theory because looking at these images and reflecting on them wasn't enough for me. And then I remembered something I read many years ago, a discovery by Dr. Louis-Émile Javal. He was a 19th century ophthalmologist from France. And Javal discovered something that it was really interesting and amazing even. What he discovered is that in order to read Latin, we need the top part of the letters. And then we can read it. So most identifying characteristics are on that top part. And I remember this and I said, well, maybe I'll try. Maybe it will work with Hebrew. It didn't. Even if you can't read Hebrew, it's very easy to notice that the rooftops of the letters seem very much alike. So this was definitely not the way to go. But then I was thinking, maybe I should try the other half of the Hebrew. And then I discovered that the most identifying characteristics of the Hebrew are on the bottom half. And I was happy with this discovery, but this was only one half. And I wanted to see what happens with the Arabic as well. So with the Arabic, what you need is the top part of the letters. And I started connecting, and I had my system. I was really happy. So each time, the top part will be dedicated to Arabic, the bottom part for Hebrew. If you read Arabic, you will read the top part. If you read Hebrew, you will read the bottom part. It will always have the same meaning. And I started connecting letters, new hybrid letters. Each time, each letter was composed out of a top part of Arabic and the bottom part of Hebrew. Combining, connecting a new word, the identifying characteristics are still there, but the rest of the parts, they need to compromise for this. And it wasn't a cut and paste solution. I'll show you just a snippet of the process. We'll do a little test. So, same, yeah, and same word for everything. And if you, this was the word language, by the way. And if you Hebrew speakers could be so kind and Arabic speakers and try to read this and say out loud the answers so everyone will know if it's readable. Thank you. Hummus, Jerusalem, water, watermelon, Arabic, and Hebrew. This is how it looks. So very easy, I realized that in order to create every possible combination, I would need to connect every Hebrew letter with every Arabic letter, getting me to the very small number of 638. Later, it quadrupled, and we can talk about it if you want during the breaks. A very important moment for this project was in the Israeli railway, on the Israeli train. As I said, I don't speak Arabic, so every time I was going on the train for my commute, I would carry a pile of papers in my bag with Aravrit words in different stages of it. And whenever I overheard someone speaking Arabic, I would approach them and ask if they have a few minutes to give me feedback. And this was the way I tested the system and improved it. And actually, they rescued me from so many very fatal mistakes. And this was the first time that this parallel existence that I was talking about started to connect for me. And I started to have some connections with Arabic speakers. By the way, even yesterday, I caught someone I overheard speaking Arabic, and I started asking for some feedback, which was very good. So I started with it for me, but quickly it got a lot of media coverage. Just share one quick story before we end about Uri and Reka, and maybe about the combination and what this project can create and did create. Uri is a Jewish person living in Mexico, and Reka is Muslim living in Lebanon, and they met a few years ago in Australia and started traveling together. They formed a really good friendship, so whenever after they came back to their countries, they decided on a yearly gathering, each time in a different location on the globe where they can meet. And when they were in Miami, they emailed me, and they discovered about Aravrit. And they asked me to design a tattoo for them with the word human. And they said that this is the perfect way for them to show what these trips are for them. Aravrit would be the perfect tool to show that they are just humans, and the boundaries they have are not boundaries in these really beautiful moments that they have. And they decided to display this on their bodies forever. This is the President of Israel in a collaboration we did. And the important thing to say is that this is I'm giving a lot of workshops for kids and how easy Aravrit is for them. Aravrit is a hybrid of Hebrew and Arabic. How easy it is for them, to read, how easy it is for them to write with it, also for grown-ups. I just finished quickly. You can find the TED Talk I did. In the bottom line of this is we live our lives, and you have your own knowledge and ideas of life. And the point of Aravrit is that you can read the language that you feel comfortable with, but you won't ignore the other one, which is always there present. And if we take the bigger scope and just spread for a minute from letters, is we are here together and our lives are intertwined, whether you like it or not. And acknowledging this and looking at this will create a mind shift in our lives and maybe even bigger in society. Thank you.